In this section, we're going to discuss C and C++ functions, principles of structured programming using functions and variables. Also, we're going to examine function call order, and this will be our handout for today. And as we explore different ways to organize our program, we're going to add multiple source files and also header files to our project. To begin with, I'd like to create a new project, and the project directory is going to be the same as we started earlier. So this is my location on my hard drive. So I'm just going to jump onto File, New, Project, create empty project, and specify it's going to be week 6. And this is just a location. Replace this location with the recognizable location when you are creating your projects. So we'll create the project, and then in the Solution Explorer, right, View Solution Explorer, we're going to first of all add a new item, which is going to be our main file, C++. So we'd like to place our main function in a well-recognized source file with the direct name main.cpp, and of course I'm going to add source src subfolder, which will be created automatically for us to store all of the source files. So add, and now we have an empty file like this. And of course we can now proceed to experiment with ideas presented in our handout. So let's start with the demonstration. For now, I'm just going to close my Solution Explorer because all I need is just a little demo here in the source code window. So we can start with including IO stream because we're going to do some basic user interaction in today's session. So our main function for now will include the entire solution, and let's start with the return statement. And the first idea here is going to be that we're going to print a welcome message. So we can say welcome to ping pong game. Okay, so this will be the greeting for the user. Let's add the new line here, and then we can create an integer variable. We'll call it play count. Okay, so it's like how many times to play the game. And we'll be asking the user using standard character input device. Notice the direction of the input operator, and just basically ask the user to populate this play count. Just enter it on the keyboard. Now, before we do this, we can say to the user, again, another prompt. How many times to play? Okay, and we can say 0 to exit. So there's a way to exit the program. Alright, so we're just going to print this prompt and let the user enter a play count, and we can have a loop based on our play count. We can say something like while, and the condition for this loop will be minus play count. Okay, so we can decrement this play count, and as soon as the play count becomes 0, so this is no longer non-zero value, we can stop the loop. Inside the loop, we'll start with very simple idea. Just print print a message such as ping pong, right? So we're just simulating a sequence of plays that is taking place between the two players, right? So we're just trying to simulate these responses ping pong with respect to the number of times to play specified by the user. So let's then print maybe new line before we exit, just to format everything nicely. Just new line character included here, because at the end of these outputs I'm not printing new line, so we'll print the new line after the loop. Of course, the play count is it can be 0 to begin with. So then we can just use maybe an if statement, right? If statement that can say that if play count equals 0, or maybe less than 1, because they can also enter a negative value, I guess. Right, we can just return. Again, we can just print new line and return from the game, so that we don't enter the loop with 0, so it become negative and it'll loop very ugly for a very long time unless we check this condition. So just trying to keep it safe and easy to use. Let's build the program, okay, just to see if the syntax is all right, if everything's okay, and run it like this. So it's asking me how many times I want to play, and of course this is the entire code, and I want to play 3 times. So you can see that at the first attempt to play this game, what happened was that we're decrementing this counter before we check the condition. So we do print ping pong 2 times right here. So for debugging purposes, we can also display play count. Okay, so this is just temporarily for debugging purposes, and then print a space. So we'll see that if we now rerun it one more time. So if I press 3 again, you can see that we're entering first iteration of the loop with the play count set to 2. This is because initially it was set to 3 by this input from the keyboard. So the integer was populated with decimal 3. We check whether it's less than 1. It's not, so we're going to enter the loop, and we decrement the count. So I mean, this is a situation where we have to realize that there is always this marginal value, like the marginal value of a counter close to 0 or close to the upper value of it as it counts down, that we need to be careful about, because perhaps what we're expecting to print here is 2, 1, and then 0, and then stop. So basically just something that we can indicate that we played 3 times, or you know, the ball was exchanged 3 times. So this is an issue. It's not a very important issue. I'm going to address it a little bit later on, because I'm going to restructure the program so a little bit more pretty soon. So let's just run again, and if we enter a big number like 10 plays right here, the user may not even notice that it was one play count short. Okay, so for now we just realized that the loop is working and we're printing these ping pong exchanges. The first thing that I'd like to change in this program is that I'd like to play this multiple times, including the input. So I would like to create a loop here, and it's best to control the loop based on the success of this input,